All right, let us make a quiet, sincere resolution to calm the mind, to soften the body, and to bring a gentle smile to the face. At every moment, keep the body relaxed. Keep mindfulness continuous, steady, and unbroken. Be aware of every posture, sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. Be mindful of each movement, each change, and maintain clear comprehension in all activities. Always attentive, always awake. Sitting meditation. Now let's begin with sitting. When we sit, we start from the basics. Keep the body upright, balanced, and relaxed, neither leaning forward nor bending backward. Do not tilt to the left or right. Simply sit straight, at ease, with gentle awareness. While sitting, avoid unnecessary movements. Don't snap your fingers, don't scratch, and certainly don't fall asleep or snore. Because our bodies may not yet be supple, some of you may find the legs or tendons tight. It's fine. You may sit in a simple cross-legged posture. Half lotus is better. Full lotus is best. But choose what allows you to sit still and steady. Once seated, don't stretch upward stiffly, and don't sink down heavily. Let the posture be natural, upright yet light. Check from time to time, is my sitting posture balanced, relaxed, stable? For beginners, the seat should be slightly higher at the back. We often place a small cushion with a gentle slope on top of the large one. This helps align the spine naturally and keep the body upright. And please always cover your legs, even in summer when it feels warm. Do not leave them exposed, because when energy channels are not yet open, it's easy for wind or cold to enter, which disturbs the flow of energy and mindfulness. Once disturbed, the mind becomes restless and concentration weakens. So cover your legs properly. Protect the knees, legs, waist, and shoulders. These areas should never be exposed to drafts. Many people, though healthy at first, develop problems simply because they didn't know how to sit correctly or how to protect the body. Their posture became unbalanced, they strained the joints and even caused illness. So please take care. Meditation should heal, not harm. Here, our assistants will guide you with experience and care. They'll help you find the right way to sit and cover the body properly. This is sitting meditation. For this retreat, our focus is mindfulness of breathing. In the next retreat, we'll continue with contemplation of the body, the 32 parts of the body. Standing meditation. Next, standing meditation. We will practice diligently and steadily, without laziness or distraction. This diligence, this energy, is the direct cause of progress on the path. When standing, pay attention to details. Do not wear shoes. If you stand with shoes on, you won't last long. It's better to wear thick socks. Or if it's cold, stand on a mat or gently wrap your feet with your shawl. Now, let's look at the posture. Both feet should press evenly on the ground. Toes, heels, and the middle of each foot, sharing the weight equally. Keep your feet parallel, about 1 fist width apart. This corrects your standing alignment. Do not bend the knees forward and do not lock them backward. Let the body stay relaxed and keep checking that the soles are evenly grounded. When the foundation is balanced, you can stand for a long time without swaying, without shaking. This posture naturally corrects many long-term imbalances in bones, muscles, and tendons. With correct standing, you can practice mindfulness of breathing, just as you do in sitting. Lying meditation, the lion's posture. Now, lying down. This too is meditation, not ordinary sleep. Previously, when we lay down, we might roll about, restless and distracted. But now, we rest with mindfulness. This is called the lion's posture. It has two purposes. First, it nourishes the body, restoring energy and clarity. Second, it pacifies the mind, bringing tranquility and calm. The Buddha's disciple, Venerable Ananda, was once advised, even when resting, one should lie down mindfully, like a lion. The lion, majestic and dignified, when tired, lies on its right side, calm, alert, composed. We do the same. Place the right hand gently beside the right ear, the thumb and fingers softly touching the side of the face. Bend the body slightly like a bow. Let the left hand rest on the left thigh. This is the lion's posture. When the lion wakes, it immediately checks its position. If it finds itself lying awkwardly, it becomes unhappy. But if its posture is correct, it rejoices and lets out the lion's roar. Venerable Ananda practiced this throughout his life. After hearing the Buddha's instruction, he never again lay flat on his back, always resting in the lion's posture. It was said that one night, in the cave near the seven-leaf chamber, while preparing to lie down in this posture, just as his head was about to touch the ground, he attained arahantship in that very instant. This shows that practice is not confined to sitting alone. Walking, standing, sitting, lying. All are opportunities for cultivation. Lying meditation, too, can be practiced with mindfulness of breathing. Meditation in daily life. Now let's talk about life meditation. This is slightly different from meditation and movement. Life meditation means to bring mindfulness into ordinary activities. Walking, bending, cleaning, cooking, serving others. Doing everything, neither too fast nor too slow, with awareness and clear comprehension. At every moment, know what you are doing. This is living meditation. Meditation in movement. Then, meditation in movement. This is practiced during still periods. Yet within stillness, we train to know the movement of the body and the activity of the mind. When the body moves, be aware of each small motion. Notice how the hand lifts, how it moves back, how it extends forward or lowers down. Every movement begins with intention, guided by mindfulness. Without mindfulness, the body does not move purposefully. So we train to let mindfulness lead and the mind direct each action. This is true movement meditation, walking meditation. Finally, walking meditation. Walking meditation is one of the most important practices. You can do it in your room or in a small space anywhere there is enough room to take a few steps. Relax the body first. Then, lift the foot. Before lifting, be aware. Mindfulness goes first, intention arises first. Then lift the foot mindfully, move it forward and place it down gently. Lifting, moving, placing. Each step is clear and known. At the beginning, because mindfulness is still weak, just observe these 3 simple steps. Gradually, as the mind grows calm, you'll notice more. At first, the mind is like a rushing waterfall, too fast to notice details. Then, as it quiets, it becomes like a steep stream, then like a gentle brook, and finally like a still, deep ocean. When the mind becomes that quiet, you'll see each moment clearly. Even within a single lift of the foot. Lifting the foot has many stages. First, the heel rises slowly, then the whole foot, then the toes leave the ground. All softly, gradually, without haste. As the foot moves forward, notice the smooth, slow extension. When lowering the foot, let the heel touch first lightly to firmly, feeling every sensation. The contact, the weight, the settling. Then place the foot down completely. The step is finished. Each step may have 6, 7, even 10 distinct stages, depending on how sharp your awareness becomes. The next foot moves the same way, mind leading, body following, 1 half step at a time, never in haste. This is walking meditation, when you can maintain mindfulness. In walking, movement, and daily activities, then when you sit, you will enter stillness easily. And when you rise from sitting, that stillness remains. There will be no distinction between entering or leaving meditation. The calm and clarity will be present everywhere. At that stage, both concentration and insight support each other perfectly. That is true, complete mindfulness of breathing. In every posture, in every moment, in all of life. Now, after we have settled into sitting, what should we do next? We come to the second step of mindfulness of breathing. Knowing long and short breaths. The first step was simply knowing the in-breath and the out-breath. Now we go a little deeper. We observe whether each breath is long or short. Understanding long. Let the body relax. Let the whole body soften. Keep a gentle smile on the face. Feel the air as it comes in through the nostrils and as it goes out through the nostrils. Just know it, clearly, quietly. Place your attention in this small area around the upper lip and the base of the nose. That is your focus. No need to go anywhere else. When the breath enters softly, smoothly, slowly, and continuously, that is called a long in-breath. When the breath leaves gently, evenly, without effort, that is a long out-breath. As you become aware of this smooth, long breathing, joy and ease will arise. The mind feels peaceful. the heart feels light. This is how we know the long breath. Understanding short. Sometimes the breath is not smooth. It may come in quickly or feel tight, even noisy or rough. This is a short in-breath. When the air goes out fast, hard, uneven, that is a short out-breath. Here, short does not mean the physical length of the breath, not how far the air travels inside the body. It refers to the quality of the breath, whether it is quick or slow, coarse or gentle. This is important to understand because without true transmission, many people misinterpret the teaching. Clarifying misunderstandings. Some teachers without authentic lineage have changed the practice. They say they are teaching mindfulness of breathing, but in fact, it is something else. They instruct students to watch the abdomen, to notice it rising and falling. When the breath comes in, the belly rises. When the breath goes out, the belly falls. That kind of observation is not wrong, but it is not Ānāpānasati. It does not belong to the four foundations of mindfulness. In the way the Buddha taught, it is closer to contemplation of feeling or sensation. In Taoist practice, there is a similar method called refining the inner elixir, working with energy channels and inner light. That is not what the Buddha taught as mindfulness of breathing. True Ānāpānasati is pure and direct. It stays with the breath, simply knowing the in-breath and the out-breath, as they actually are without adding anything. The Buddha's teaching on true Ānāpānasati. Once the Buddha asked a group of monks, "Do you know how to practice mindfulness of breathing?" One monk stood up and said, "Yes, Blessed One, I do. When I watch the breath, I see impermanence. I see that life is short, that we grow old and die so quickly. I feel frightened of this impermanence. Is this correct, Lord?" The Buddha replied, "You are heedless, monk. You do not yet know mindfulness of breathing." Then another monk said, "I reflect that months pass, days pass, time slips away so fast. I feel afraid and wish for liberation. That is how I practice mindfulness of breathing." The Buddha again said, "You too are heedless. You have not yet found the essence of the practice." Then a third monk rose, bowed, and said, "Blessed One, I am mindful of breathing. I contemplate impermanence. When I breathe out, I know. If I cannot breathe in again, I would die. When I breathe in, I know. If I cannot breathe out, I would die. Each breath could be the last." With this awareness, I practice mindfulness of breathing. The Buddha said to him, "Well done, monk. You are diligent, and you truly know mindfulness of breathing. This is the right way, to be fully aware of each breath as life itself. Every in-breath is birth, every out-breath is death. To know this directly is the heart of the practice." Mistaken teachings on long and short. Some people misunderstand long and short. They imagine that when the breath enters through the nose, it must be followed all the way inside. to the throat, the chest, the belly, and they call that long. If they only feel it at the nostrils, they call that short. They might even trace the air as it moves, up to the head or down through the whole body, thinking that to know the entire path is long breathing. That is not the Buddha's teaching. That is energy channel practice, more like Qigong or internal energy work. The Buddha never taught Ānāpānasati in that way. The correct practice. The true practice is very simple. When the breath is quick, rough, or forceful, that is short. When the breath is smooth, gentle, and unhurried, that is long. At each moment, just know the breath as it is, whether long or short, soft or strong, ... You simply know. That is all. This is the correct way to practice mindfulness of breathing, to know long and short breaths clearly, as the Buddha himself taught. Now, as we continue our practice, we will meet obstacles. That is natural. And the greatest obstacle is simply this: we are not used to it. That is the habit of restlessness. Most of us have never trained the body in this way. We've never sat still for long, never practiced with such steadiness or discipline. So when we first begin, it feels uncomfortable, even unbearable. But that's all right. This is why we practice together, why we practice as a community. Practicing together allows us to support one another, to draw strength from each other's presence. This is what the ancient teachers called the strength of collective cultivation. When we practice in a group, progress comes swiftly and beautifully. It inspires us. You might notice, as you sit, you feel restless or uncomfortable, and then you look around. Others are sitting quietly, so upright, so still from beginning to end. At that moment, you might feel, my posture is terrible. My mind is so agitated. That very awareness is already a step forward. If you have some inner merit, some wholesome foundation, then sitting itself becomes a joy. To sit is to be in heaven. To sit is already freedom. The heart feels bright, content, and liberated. What about the struggle of the beginners? If you have never trained before, then yes, it feels difficult. You might think, when will the bell ring? When can I stretch my legs? When can I lie down and rest? The body feels tortured. The minutes pass slowly, and the mind complains, this is worse than hell. Why does it feel like that? Because the body and mind have been untrained. We have always followed our habits, seeking comfort, avoiding effort, pampering this sense of me and mine. True endurance, real patience, is learned right here in the body and mind. This is the true austerity, not punishing, but transforming. Now let's talk about the importance of the right place and true transmission. Here, in this meditation hall, you are practicing in a sacred place, a place of compassion and authentic transmission. That makes all the difference. Some people ask, why can't I just practice at home? Why not join online? watch a live stream. It seems convenient, but it doesn't work the same way. People at home are easily careless. They lie down while watching, smoke, drink, talk, or scroll through their phones and say, "I'm meditating too." That is not respect. That is not practice. Without respect, the heart cannot open to Dhamma. Without sincere effort, no true benefit arises. That is why we do not broadcast retreats. You must come here, to sit among others, to train the body, to learn reverence. The more you respect, the more you receive. The more you give, the more the Dhamma nourishes you in return. For beginners, there are two great challenges. The first is the sitting posture. We've never been asked to sit in one position before. From birth, we've done whatever felt comfortable. So when we suddenly have to sit still, the mind rebels. It looks for comfort again. The Buddha once described this so clearly. He said, "A being runs and gets tired." He thinks, running is tiring. I'll walk. He walks and soon grows weary. Then he thinks, I'll stand. Standing will be better. He stands and again feels discomfort. So he sits and later thinks, sitting is painful. I'll lie down. He lies down and still feels restless, so he gets up again. All his life, he keeps changing, chasing comfort, following craving. Whatever I want, I do. This is how ordinary beings live, endlessly restless, never free. So here we train to reverse that habit. We do not follow craving, we follow the Dhamma. We gather here, not for convenience, but for the power of the Dhamma field. Those who have benefited from this practice feel a natural responsibility to share it with others without seeking anything in return. When someone has truly received the Dhamma, they wish only one thing: may others receive more than I have. May others awaken even before me. That is the pure heart of transmission. That is how Dhamma lives, passed on, unaltered from heart to heart. Yet not everyone approaches meditation with pure intention. Some come seeking fame, status, or profit. I once knew a lay practitioner who attended 2 retreats. Then he went home and began teaching meditation retreats for money. We heard about it but said nothing because the result is certain. When the heart is stained with greed or self-interest, the practice cannot endure. Such teaching will not last. The Dhamma cannot be sold or traded. It must be offered freely out of sincerity and compassion. That is why many centers fail, not because the Dhamma is lacking, but because the organizers' hearts are impure. They cling to self, to gain, to reputation, and when the mind is not liberated, how can it guide others to liberation? Why does our practice here flourish? Why do so many wish to join? Because it is an authentic lineage, pure and unchanged. When you meet the teacher, you meet the lineage itself, as if meeting the Buddha's presence. True transmission is not imitation. It is living continuity, heart to heart, unchanged, through generations. For beginners, You need to break the habit of avoidance. When we ask you to sit in one fixed posture, the mind resists. It looks for comfort. That resistance comes from countless lifetimes of following desire, of indulging habit. Only when we meet the true Dhamma and are guided by one who has steadiness and samadhi can we begin to change this. Some people do not believe that others can sit for 10 hours or stand for a whole day. They think it's impossible because they themselves have never tasted that strength. But once you have received true instruction, once the mind has settled into samadhi, you find it is not difficult at all. You can do it naturally. You can even wish for others to go beyond you. When you are grounded in Dhamma, you do not compare. You do not envy. You rejoice in others' progress. That is the mark of one who has tasted the path. What are the qualities of a true teacher? A person who has not realized the Dhamma still clings and competes. They feel jealous when students learn elsewhere and angry when others teach. Such a person cannot guide others. They are still bound by ego. But a true meditation teacher holds nothing back. They teach according to each student's capacity. Like the moon reflected in water, appearing in every vessel, yet untouched itself. Their only wish is that all students may be freed quickly, that each may find peace even sooner than the teacher. That is the pure heart of a genuine guide. That is the way of transmission, the power of the Dhamma, passed on through compassion, through patience, through selfless joy. Now we come to something very important, how to choose correctly, because when we sit, many of us have never trained this way before. So what should we do? From long experience, we can say clearly, training the body alone is not enough. Training the mind alone is not enough. We must train both body and mind together. And most importantly, we must never sit in empty sitting. Empty sitting means sitting there, blank, dull, without mindfulness, without wisdom. The Buddha warned against this very clearly. He said that sitting in this way is not practice. It's like going astray, even like losing one's clarity, falling into confusion. Just sitting with a blank mind, that is not meditation. That is emptiness without wisdom. It's like a monkey squatting on a barren rock, searching for food, but finding nothing. In the end, the monkey starves to death. So too, when we sit with no mindfulness, no contemplation, no awareness of the breath, our mind becomes dry and lifeless. That is called dead wood meditation, or still water meditation. Motionless, yet without life. There is no wisdom there, no energy, no growth. Some people say, when I sit, I know nothing. Everything disappears. That must be enlightenment. That must be nibbana. But think carefully. If you know nothing at all, how can that be awakening? Some even say, I sit and I feel blank. I don't know what I'm doing. But it feels peaceful. Others look at them and say, like a Buddha statue, so still, so quiet. But in truth, they are like a mosquito trying to bite an iron bull. The mosquito hopes for nourishment, but the iron bull gives nothing. No matter how long it tries, it gets no sustenance. Likewise, if you sit motionless, but have no mindfulness, no concentration, no wisdom, how can it bring you liberation? It's just stillness without insight, form without spirit. So, when we sit, we must not sit aimlessly. Meditation must have method. You must apply right attention. You must work with the mind. Do not sit only to feel comfortable. If you seek comfort, you will find only dullness. What you must seek is the method, the right way to practice, guided by someone who has walked the path. So, how do we choose a teacher? Choose a teacher who has samadhi, true concentration. Choose a teacher who truly practices, not just one who gives talks and disappears. A real teacher sits and practices with the students. You can see their example, feel their steadiness, follow their presence. A so-called teacher who only gives lectures at fixed times and leaves, that cannot lead you to the depth of meditation, because there is no living model to learn from. The Buddha was completely transparent. His disciples could observe him at any time, even ascetics from other traditions. Watch the Buddha for months, trying to find faults. One such seeker once said, "I have heard you are perfect, so I will watch you for 3 months." He observed the Buddha's every gesture, every movement, every word. After 3 months, he bowed down deeply and said, "I have found no flaw in you." Then he became a monk under the Buddha. A truly realized person is like that. You can observe them day and night and still find no defilement. Their life itself is practice. Their body, speech, and mind rest entirely in the Dhamma. Only such a person has the qualification to guide others in meditation. Only such a person is a true spiritual friend, a genuine Kalyana Mitta. This is why, when we choose a teacher, we must choose carefully. We have given up so much to come here. Our families, our work, our relationships, our opportunities for wealth or status, all left behind for the sake of Dhamma. Imagine if, after giving up all that, you follow the wrong guide. How deep the regret would be. So from the very beginning, choose carefully. Choose with wisdom. Choose with discernment. Choose with sincerity. A true teacher does not need to appear special. Their presence itself inspires confidence. Their actions teach more than their words. They guide not by command, but by living example. In such a presence, you feel peace. You feel the path is real. You feel safe to surrender. Your restlessness, your confusion, your doubts. This is why, from the very start, right choice is essential. Right posture, right method, right guidance. Only together do they lead to wisdom. Once we have made the right choice of place, of teacher, of attitude, then the only thing left is to sit and persevere. If others can sit steadily, why can't we? All that is needed is patience and method. In the beginning, the mind runs wild. Like a monkey jumping from branch to branch, or a wild horse kicking against its reins. You may think, when I don't meditate, I feel fine. But when I sit, it's so hard, so painful. That's because before, you were following desire dash, doing whatever you pleased, letting the mind wander wherever it wished. Now both body and mind are fixed in place. They are not used to it. The energy of craving struggles, like a wild horse suddenly tied to a post. The Buddha compared practitioners to horses. The unruly horse. The first kind is the unruly horse, the strong but stubborn one. It is tied up in the stable, fastened to a beam, and refuses to move or serve its master. Such a horse has no purpose, no usefulness. Its master no longer cares for it because it does not work. It only complains. It keeps thinking, "Master, give me better food. Give me sweeter hay." It only dreams of comfort, of self-satisfaction. This is the mind clinging to the 5 sensual desires, always wanting pleasure, always chasing satisfaction, always centered on me. That is the mind of the unruly horse. The noble horse. The second kind is the noble horse, the horse of renunciation. This horse has one thought only: to serve its master faithfully, to run swiftly toward the goal, never looking left or right. It expects nothing in return. Because of this, the master cherishes it, feeds it the best grain, and cares for it with love. Who is this master? The Great Awakening, the Dhamma itself. When we practice sincerely with no desire for reward, that is the quality of the noble horse, and that is the heart of true practice. Now, how do we sit when the body begins to ache? At first, the knees hurt, the back aches, the legs grow stiff. What should we do? First, investigate carefully. Which part of the body feels the strongest pain? Which area disturbs the mind the most? Notice it directly. Before the pain becomes strong, learn to observe it early. If you wait until it is intense, your mindfulness will be too weak to hold it. As soon as you sense the first discomfort, place your attention right there. Bring your mindfulness gently but firmly to the spot of sensation. Let me tell you a story. Once, while descending from the snowy peaks near Gangotri in India, I sat quietly by the riverbank of the Ganges. Not long after I sat, a mosquito came buzzing near. At that moment, mindfulness became very sharp, concentrated and steady. I knew clearly the sound of the wings, the lightness of its movement, the approach of its body. The mosquito landed on my hand. I knew it precisely as it landed. Then came the bite. A small prick, and immediately a ripple of sensation arose at that spot. I felt the vibration, the pulsing, the slight heat. A burning, tingling, moving feeling, wave after wave, rising and falling, changing every instant. I observed quietly. I saw how each sensation appeared, and then vanished moment after moment. Then came great joy, a deep happiness. For the first time I had seen directly how sensations truly arise and pass away. This is the nature of all phenomena. impermanent, unstable, arising and ceasing, never the same twice. When this is seen, clearly wisdom arises. One understands that. Physical feelings belong to the body, but the heart can remain free. Then, even if the body has pain, the mind does not suffer. There is feeling in the body, but no suffering in the heart. In the same way, when you sit in meditation and your knees begin to ache, observe as you did with the mosquito bite. Bring your attention to that spot. Notice vibration, pulsation, movement. Each sensation arises and ceases, never staying fixed. See it clearly, feeling after feeling, moment after moment. Then, gently return your awareness to the breath. If the pain returns, go back again. Observe it patiently, without judgment, without fear. Just know. This is how to develop insight. How to train the mind to see reality as a flow of changing sensations, not as my pain or my body. There was once a monk in the mountain of Zhongnan who told me he had practiced meditation for 10 years. He could sit for 8 or 10 hours, but always suffered great pain in his legs. Later, he learned this same method of observation, how to look directly at feeling with mindfulness. A few years later, I visited him again. He said joyfully, "Now my legs don't hurt anymore. I can sit as long as I want, even for days." But then he added, "Yet now I struggle with dullness and wandering thoughts. My body is fine, but the mind is not clear. What should I do?" I told him, "Before, your problem was pain. Now your problem is comfort. You can sit, but your concentration and insight are still weak. Now you must develop both tranquility and insight, the twin powers of samatha and vipassana." Later he said with joy, "Now I truly benefit from practice. Now I know what to do. I am certain of my path. I no longer need to ask anyone. I have confidence from my own experience. That is the fruit of right method, the power of insight practice handed down through true lineage. So remember, when we sit, we must have method. Method means clear mindfulness and deep observation. It means strong concentration and the skill to turn that clarity inward, to see directly. Don't fear pain, don't fear stillness. Once you know how to observe, pain becomes your teacher and stillness becomes your strength. The posture will soon feel natural. The discomfort will pass. And what remains is calm, wisdom, and freedom. Yesterday was the first day. Many of you felt pain and fear. Perhaps just thinking about the meditation hall today, some of you already feel uneasy. That's very natural. For beginners, the meditation hall can seem intimidating, but for those who have practiced steadily, who have sat often and built a foundation, the hall becomes a place of joy, a sacred space of stillness and peace. They love the meditation hall and they praise its calm and dignity. For those who are new, this atmosphere may not yet feel comfortable. In the beginning, the mind expects something special, some sudden miracle, a flash of liberation. But what arrives instead is the ache of the legs, the stiffness of the back. Then frustration appears. You may find yourself thinking, when will this session end? When will the bell ring? When will they say, let's rest now? The mind keeps waiting for escape. In the old days, when I was young and served as the meditation hall attendant, many would whisper, please ring the bell soon. I can't endure the pain any longer. You must have lost track of time. For them, even a minute felt unbearable. Why? Because they had no mindfulness. Without mindfulness, time feels heavy and slow. But when mindfulness is present, time disappears. You sit down, and before you know it, the bell rings. This is the difference between suffering and benefiting from practice. So we must persevere. Yesterday was the first day. Today is the second. If you sit well tonight, then tomorrow, the third day, you will begin to overcome. After 3 days of sincere effort, you will no longer fear sitting. You will even begin to enjoy it. From then on, you can sit longer, 4 hours, 5 hours, and still feel that time is short. This means the method is correct. You are practicing insight, vipassana, properly. With right mindfulness, right attention, right effort. It's not only about keeping the body still. Holding a fixed posture is difficult at first, but it becomes easy with training. The greater challenge is to keep the mind still. Before we practiced, the mind wandered freely, recalling the past, planning the future, lost in imagination. That scattered movement made us dull, unaware of our own suffering. Now we fix both posture and attention, and we discover how restless the mind truly is. To hold one single point of focus, that is far more difficult than keeping the body still. The mind runs off, and we don't even notice. By the time we realize it, it's already been gone a long while. And then we think, I know my mind has wandered. But that awareness came after the wandering, not before. Once, while living in the mountains of Zhongnan, I decided to watch carefully, to see exactly where a wandering thought begins. So one morning, as soon as I awoke, I sat down and waited, watching with patience. I waited until noon. No wandering thought arose, and suddenly I understood. This is non-arising. When mindfulness is present, no thought arises. When there is steady attention, no thought arises. When there is clear comprehension, no thought arises. When the mind abides in the 3 characteristics, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self, there is no arising. And when there is no arising, there is no ceasing. Later, I continued observing from noon until night. Still no thought arose. Then deep understanding dawned. Liberation is already here. It has never been apart from us. It's not something to search for, not something distant. We do not need to ride a horse to find the horse. We do not need to add feet to the snake. What we have always sought has never been missing. This awareness, this knowing, has been present from birth, and yet we keep searching for it, looking outside, struggling in vain, but it is always right here, right now. So let us make a firm decision to calm the heart. During these 10 days, we will follow the steps carefully, exactly as taught in the lineage. This is a tradition that brings results. Make the resolve to persevere from start to finish. Hold your vow with sincerity. If you complete the full 10 days, you will truly understand. You will know by experience what it means to practice here. But if you stop halfway, you cannot say you have attended this retreat. Even if you tell others you did, you will not have received the full benefit. Half practice brings only half understanding. Transmission must be complete, method and experience together, to bear fruit. Now we return to the second step of mindfulness of breathing, awareness of long and short breaths. Remember this well. Steady, continuous practice is the secret of success. Once you truly understand the method, the teaching itself will guide your practice. Theory and practice are not two things. First, listen and understand the principle. Then, apply it directly. In practice, you will discover the truth of the teaching. This harmony of knowing and doing, this union of wisdom and action, is called the integration of understanding and practice. Now, let's take a short 5-minute rest. Then we'll return to the hall and continue diligently with the second step of mindfulness of breathing, awareness of long and short breaths